Hi guys, and welcome to Cultnomics. My name is Paul Hanley, and today I'm going to be chatting to you about
An introduction to real wages. So here we're going to concentrate on real wages, but actually we will look at the change in the real wage rate, which is more important for adjustment in the macroeconomy in terms of demand and supply. So we will say that the change in the real wage, and change is indicated by the triangle here, the change in RW is equal to the change in the nominal wage, that's NW, minus inflation, which is indicated by the symbol for pi. So changes in real wages in the economy are made up of and associated with two things: the nominal wage rate and the inflation rate in the economy. So once you adjust your take-home pay, your gross wages for inflation, you calculate a real wage. This is the purchasing power of your wage rate. Now we can put figures in here. We can say maybe if you got a wage increase this year of 2% in your gross pay, and if inflation was at its normal 2% in the economy as well, what we can do is work out a real wage increase or change of 0%. So that is you getting a 2% increase, but inflation and prices going up by 2% as well, hence giving you the 0% real wage increase. So you're no better or no worse off in this economy. Inflation has eaten away the purchasing power of your money. Now, if we take the other example of a 5% pay increase in gross wages with still the 2% inflation rate, what we find is that your real wages in this case would go up by the full 3%. So that's 5 minus 2. So you would have to get a nominal wage increase that is more than the inflation rate if you were to be better off in real terms. So with this type of value here, you can actually buy more goods and services after your wage increase, which is important to workers. Now, we can move on from this as well, and we can start looking at what would change real wages when we alter the inflation rate as well. So we can take another example down here, and we could say if the economy was in a slightly different situation. So let's say the economy was running in more of a recessionary climate where the wage rate increase offered to people was only 1%. So let's say a 1% nominal wage increase. Now, if we still had our 2% inflation in there, what that would actually mean in the economy is 1 minus 2% would give us minus 1% on the change in real wages. So what's actually happened here is the employers have offered workers a 1% increase in wages, but in real terms, in terms of their purchasing power, that 1% is actually a negative 1% in terms of real wages. So employers have facilitated a decrease in their cost bill, in their labour costs in that case there. They've still given workers an increase in wages of 1%, however the wage bill has fallen by minus 1% in real terms, which is exactly what they'd want. In the second example, we will go with a 1% wage increase again, but now we're going to see the difficulties when you have deflation in the economy, and we'll say that's at minus 2% in this economy. So the formula is, it's the nominal wage change, 1%, minus 2% now, because it's deflation, so minus by a minus 2%. In this case, that becomes 1% plus 2%, which means that when an economy experiences deflation, we actually add in the inflation rate to real wages, and it becomes plus 3% in this case here. So the employers have just increased the wage level by 1%, the exact same as in the previous example. However, when there's deflation in the economy, the real wages go up even more, so they go up 3% here. So in this case, even though workers only see a 1% increase in terms of nominal wages, they actually get a real increase of 3%. Now, how could we get that same minus 1% if employers needed to reduce their labour costs? To do the same, to reach the equivalent minus 1% in real wages, they'd actually have to drop nominal wages by minus 3%, so a 3% wage cut to their employees. Because during deflation, again, we're adding on that inflation rate to the formula. So if we add on 2% to minus 3, we are getting the same, the equivalent, that minus 1%, that reduction in the labour bill. But you can see here that workers would be a lot more disappointed because they've got 1% increase in the previous example. Now their wages are being reduced by 3% in nominal gross terms. So it is a lot more difficult to reduce wages when you have deflation in the economy in real terms. So even a pay freeze will lead to a real wage increase in this case. You do need inflation rather than deflation in an economy to adjust your wage levels accordingly in real terms.
I hope you call back to Cultnomics soon. Bye for now.